Hey everyone, thanks again for the support that we've received making a lot of videos about tech sales. If you're finding value, would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. And thanks again, it's been great to connect with some of you through our website and LinkedIn as well. Now, first things first, obviously, I'm not an expert. This is my opinion. This is not something you should take to heart, but I'm seeing a lot going on in terms of news about recession. I also started my sales career right before COVID happened. We had the massive layoffs and then everything went remote forever. So kind of seeing what's going down, I just wanted to make a video about what you might expect if you're in tech sales. Maybe just some things to consider as we are approaching an impending recession. There's a million ways you can slice and dice this. So again, this is my opinion, but one of the things I'm noticing already is it's easy to get really caught up in everything that's going on. I mean, we've definitely seen some layoffs, but I've noticed even on things like LinkedIn, when I look and it's like so-and-so lays off a third of its workforce. It turns out that's like a 100-person company and they laid off 33 people, which is unfortunate and which is not good. Like, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like if you're following the news, if you're following LinkedIn, whether it's the post from news outlets that they link on your feed or people's posts talking about getting laid off, it's really easy to get caught up in all the negatives that are going on. And totally understandable, I might add. Like, it's not fun looking down the barrel of this potential recession, seeing people get laid off, because we've been in such a good period of time, more or less, for the last decade plus. It really hasn't been something that's even crossed the minds of people like myself who joined the workforce in the mid-2010s. But it's very natural to be concerned, and candidly, you can sit there and get overwhelmed by the fear of what's going on, or you can prepare yourself both within your current job, both outside of your job, etc. One major benefit, again, is that sales folks are driving revenue. So yes, there are teams that are going to make cuts. There are companies that are going to lay off some of the salespeople, but at the end of the day, if you've been performing, if you've shown yourself as a great performer, you're probably less likely to get cut, because at the end of the day, it's salespeople that are closing the business, generating revenue, which is critical for the survival and growth of the business. Additionally, we will see how long things last, but even in looking at historical data around recessions, and again, everything's different, this is my opinion, but they last anywhere from 9 months to 24 to 36 months. And yes, that would be very painful if you're not prepared in terms of being unemployed potentially for a year plus. But again, once we get through the recession, however long it ends, there's going to be a need for salespeople, and especially when the economic climate gets better, money is easier to lend, there's more cash flowing in the economy. Salespeople are going to be one of the first people to be added, in addition to largely being the last to be cut, because we are responsible for generating revenue. Now again, this is not a one-size-fits-all. There are people who are going to lose their jobs regardless of their performance because of company, other factors, etc. But again, conversely, if you are concerned about it, now's a great time to, one, brush up on the resume, take inventory of everything that's led up to this point. I mean, I can even tell you from my own experience, I got my first SDR job right before the pandemic started, and there were a bunch of layoffs. People very quickly found jobs again when the market picked back up that had sales experience, because teams got overly conservative, cut way too many people, and immediately needed SDRs, more sales folks to join the team as soon as possible. But again, on the company side, this highlights a few things that we've talked about in other videos that we've made. If you're with a small company that is burning cash immensely, we've already seen some of these types of companies make layoffs. That might be room to either look for another opportunity, or at a minimum prepare yourself financially from optimizing your resume, LinkedIn, etc., to be prepared in case anything happens. The flip side is, again, like in my career, I've been very fortunate to be at some great startups and progress my career very quickly. But on the flip side, if you've been in large companies, depending on the company, they're usually less likely to make massive layoffs or try and avoid it. But a lot of tech companies now are giving severance if they do have to lay people off, and providing insurance for multiple years, whatever it may be. So again, you should rightfully be concerned about the upcoming recession and prepare yourself, even at a minimum, if nothing happens, if this isn't as bad as it's maybe expected, or all the doom and gloom that we're seeing on LinkedIn, the news, etc. Even just taking the opportunity to take a breath, recapture in your resume on LinkedIn what's happened over the past year or two. Maybe if you're trying to make a strategic move in your career, again, I mentioned a lot of folks we work with are trying to break into tech sales for the first time. I actually think this might be a decent time. Like, if for whatever reason you finally lose a job that you weren't that passionate about and you want to try sales, it could be an interesting time to make a play into sales. Worst case, you try it, maybe you don't have luck, and you can go back to the career that you were doing before. It's very easy to see what's coming in the headlines and get freaked out and kind of have analysis paralysis, but you really just have to work through it and prepare yourself not knowing the answer of what's going to happen, but whether that's doubling down at work, continuing to push really hard, whether that's going over your resume, LinkedIn, having it prepared in the case that you might be looking for work, or finally venturing into sales, finally starting a side hustle, even taking free courses to maybe look into adding a skill set, understanding things like SEO, understanding marketing, better understanding how an entire sales and marketing function works is going to make you more valuable in the marketplace, whether it's in your current job or when you're looking for future opportunities as well. I wish I had a magic answer for everyone, and I wish I could say it's going to be okay, but the reality is it's probably not. We don't know how bad it's going to get, and eventually over time, I'm optimistic that things will return and continue to grow over time, but that remains to be seen how it plays out. So again, you really have a choice. Are you going to get concerned and let it affect your day-to-day, or are you going to do everything you can to prepare yourself both in work and out of work to make sure you're performing at your job, make sure if not and you suspect you might be on the cutting block, that you've got your resume, your LinkedIn in order, and you're always continuing to improve your skill set, whatever that may look like. So not the brightest video, but again, thank you if you've made it this far and supported the channel. I would love to hear, if you're in tech sales, what your opinions on this are. Have you been affected already? Are you seeing things slow down? But yeah, really appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks.